Summary of the Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. The story starts in painter Basil Hallward's studio, where he is having a party for his longtime friend, Lord Henry Wotton, who is known for his unrelenting philosophical beliefs. Basil tells Henry that he is working on the best picture he has ever painted of a beautiful young man named Dorian Gray, who has had a huge impact on him. In fact, the effect is so strong that he won't show the picture because he's afraid it will show his secret love. Henry is surprised by Basil's passion, and he wants to meet this Dorian Gray. As luck would have it, Dorian gets to the studio before Basil can take Lord Henry away. Basil tells Henry not to hurt Dorian. He takes things very seriously and looks out for the young man. He has good reason to be worried, it turns out. Lord Henry talks about philosophy at his smartest when he talks to Dorian. The boy is amazed by the new ideas he learns about, like hedonism and aesthetics. Everyone in the room agrees that Basil's picture is the best thing he's ever done. When Dorian sees the picture after hearing Lord Henry say that his youth and beauty will fade, he reacts with anger. Time is passing and he knows he is getting older, which scares him. He wishes he could trade places with the picture and stay young while the paint changes. Basil wants to destroy the portrait, and Henry wants to keep it for himself. But Dorian is interested in it and thinks he has to have it. Dorian starts to want to experience everything in life after being inspired by Lord Henry. Some high-class people never go to the parts of London that he does, and he finds a rundown theatre where Shakespeare is being performed. Here, he meets and falls in love with Sibyl Vane, a pretty young actor who plays Shakespeare's heroines. Jim Vane, her brother, doesn't like the match and tells their mother to keep an eye on Sibyl while he's at sea, but Sibyl is set on marrying her Prince Charming. A tragedy happens when Sibyl's playing stops having any life because she loves Dorian. It's because she's found true love now that she doesn't care about Romeo, she says. Dorian is very sad. Because he can't love Sibyl without her art, he breaks up with her. Dorian sees that his portrait has changed in some way when he gets home. It has turned into a mean look. It's possible that his wish came true. He promises to make things right with Sibyl because he is scared, but before he can, he hears that she has killed herself. The picture starts to bother Dorian, so he hides it and locks it up in the top room of his house. But Lord Henry's ideas continue to have an effect on him, and he lives for the art of experience and pleasure. He stops being sorry. He spends his time indulging in bad things and going on dangerous adventures because of a book about a handsome boy just like him. Even though his reputation is getting worse, he is still welcome in the most important groups because he is so charming and wealthy. But when Basil asked Dorian about the reports about him, he showed him the portrait. Basil's shock made Dorian so angry that he killed Basil with a knife. Dorian forces a guy named Alan Campbell to properly dispose of Basil's body. Then, Dorian runs away to opium dens to forget what he did and the painting. But while he is there, Jim Vane attacks him because he wants to get revenge for the death of his sister. The fact that Dorian looks so young saves him, but the thought of Jim follows him even when he goes to the country with his friends. A man named Jim Vane is killed by mistake while on a hunting trip. This makes sure that Dorian's crimes will never be found out. Dorian says he will change, but he won't turn himself in. Dorian's hope is gone when the picture shows this lie. He gets angry, grabs a knife, and goes to destroy the picture. The servants hear a terrible cry and find Dorian dead on the floor. He is old and ugly, and his body is a mess. The picture, on the other hand, is still in its original, beautiful state.
About the author. Wilde was born and raised in Dublin and went to school there. He then moved to Oxford to continue his education. During his time in London, where aestheticism was becoming famous, he became a well-known and innovative writer. He became famous as a writer because of the wit in his writing and the complex themes and plots of his stories. People were also interested in his personal life. People who didn't like him picked on his homosexuality and other controversial views. In 1895, he was jailed for many years and wrote some of his saddest songs. He went to France after he got out of jail and died there.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.